Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. Yay! As always, it's a channel for me and you, and there is no me without you. If you see my face for the first time, thank you for stopping by, and to all our returning subscribers, thank you for the love. Please remember to like, turn on the notification bell, and share. This video is going to be an educative and fun video. So this video was, should I say, motivated? Okay, the reason I'm doing this video is because of something that happened in church a few Sundays ago, and it reminded me of something that I've heard in the past, and I've been procrastinating doing this video, but I decided I'm going to do it right now. And without any delay, let's go. We are going to be talking about some security tips. Like I've said before, all the videos that I do on this channel are from my personal experiences. Most of the tips that I share on this channel are from my personal experiences. So I'm not just doing it because, yeah, I'm doing it because I feel it's important. So first of all, I'm going to be sharing with you the experience that have prompted this video. I was in church the other Sunday, and while the pastor was preaching, the guy that sat beside me asked if I had data on my phone. That's what he asked. And I was about to say yes, but I remembered a story that I heard one time. They said you can actually get into trouble for just sharing your hotspot. I mean, just someone using your hotspot could actually get you into trouble, and it has to do with some kind of security tip. So I've learned that a long time ago that you shouldn't just share your hotspot with a stranger, someone you don't know. They can use it for something that can actually incriminate you. You can actually go to prison for just sharing your hotspot. And I had already opened my mouth to say yes before I quickly remembered, and I'm like, nope. And then I thought to myself while the service was going on, this guy is sitting behind me and the pastor is actually preaching. Now, when it comes to the time in the church when the pastor is preaching, that's very important for me. I have to catch every single detail. I do not like to miss anything. And I usually take notes. I take notes on my phone. So I'm like, why isn't this guy taking notes? And what do you need to do with data? What do you need the internet connection for right now when the pastor is preaching? It wasn't time for offering or giving. I would have said, okay, he wanted to do a mobile app transfer. So I was wondering, what did this guy want to use internet connection for? And secondly, after about a few minutes, he brought out a second phone from his pocket. And these two phones weren't cheap phones. So I'm like, how can this guy be having two phones like this, really expensive phone, and claim not to have data? Different things just kept on going through my mind. And when I got home that Sunday, I said I was going to do this video. So I'm going to be sharing with you 15 security tips, and my tip number one would be, don't trust anyone just because you see them in church. Yeah, because I used to have this mindset that if you see someone in church or someone sees you in church, it has to be a good person, or whoever you meet in church has to be a good person. But no, that's not the case. I've fallen a victim before. I've seen people who are falling victims before. I've had people close to me who are falling victims before just because they trusted someone that just came to church. You can't even trust someone who you've seen in church for so many years, let alone someone you've just seen in church for the first time. Some people come to church and they claim to have one situation or the other, and they take money and run away. So first tip, do not trust someone just because you see them in church. And my second tip, this video is not just about church, but I said that was what prompted me to do this video. So my second tip will be, do not sleep near a window, or do not use your phones near a window at night. Now, you shouldn't be sleeping or using phones or lights or anything near a window at night. The first time I actually learned this was when I stayed with my aunt. May her soul rest in peace. When I stayed with my aunt in Asaba, Delta State, Nigeria, at night she would always ask us to put our phone away. We were two living in the house with her. We were two girls living in the house with her, and at night she would always ask us to put our phones away and not use the phones close to the windows at night. So that's a very important tip. You want to keep yourself secured while you're sleeping at night. And my tip number 3 would be check that your doors and gates are properly locked. Now you'd notice I'm actually reading from a book. I decided to list this out because these are really important. I decided to list them out and make sure that I do not skip anyone. So my tip number 3 is make sure your doors and gates are locked at night before you go to bed. You know, sometimes before you sleep, you get tired, you just want to, especially when you've had a stressful day, you just want to go to bed and fall asleep. But before you do, it's important to make sure that your doors and gates are locked. You do not want to have a bad experience before you take this thing seriously. Trust me. And number 4, you need to observe changes and new faces in your environment. When you start seeing strangers roaming about in your environment, or you start seeing strange faces in your environment, it's something to be concerned about. You don't just overlook things. I'm actually talking from my personal experiences and from experiences that people around me have gotten, or from experiences of other people that I've heard. But when you start seeing strange faces in your environment, especially when they start becoming frequent, it's something to really be concerned about. My tip number 5 would be, I would advise you not to work at night. I know there are sometimes it's important, sometimes it's extremely important you have to be out at night. But in most cases, when you can avoid it, please do not work at night. To me, it's even creepy working at night when it's dark and so many bad things happen at night. So why not just stay in your house if you can, if it's important, try to finish up stuff that you can finish up early enough and don't stay out at night. I know some people will be like, no, it's I'm not saying you shouldn't. There are cases where it's going to be really important and there's nothing you can do, that's fine. But in most cases, when you can, please, it's advisable you do not walk at night, especially in lonely areas and walking alone. It's not advisable at all. And number 6 would be, I feel like this is supposed to be a popular one, like a common one that so many people should know. When you're going to a place, especially when you're going to a place for the first time, please give a friend or family the address and the phone number of the person you're going to meet or the place you're going to. This is very important. It's very, very important. And if it's not somewhere you're going to for the first time, when you can, please let someone know your whereabouts, okay? And number 7, use authorized motor parks. Like, if you have to, for some of us who don't have cars, right? Not all of us have cars. If you want to go to a place, if you're going somewhere just in town or even outside town, it's best to use a park that's authorized. You know why? Because in an authorized motor park, all the cars are registered, they have details of the drivers, so on and so forth. It's really, really important. And it's not just for your own safety. Let me tell you one more reason. In a case where you forget your property or one of your goods in the car, it's easier for you to track it and get it back. But when you just enter a car from the roadside, you get to lose your property. Aside the fact that it's dangerous, if you lose your property, it's almost impossible to get it back. So that's my tip number 7. And my tip number 8. I'm laughing because my sister would actually watch this and be like, oh, so she noticed or she learned. My sister will always tell me, do not discuss money in public. Do not discuss money in a cab. If I'm discussing money with my sister in a cab, even if it's 500 naira, 200 naira, she would give me bombastic side eye, like, for real? It's not a good thing at all. And I had prepared this video a long time ago, right? For about 3 weeks now. But I've been procrastinating, but I decided I'm going to do it this morning. And just before I'm doing this video right now, I saw I saw a video on the internet where someone got into trouble just because they were discussing money. Just it could be just little amount of money, but you never know what's in the mind of people. So in a public place, in a cab, please for your own safety, do not discuss money in public. And my tip number 9, I'm just giving you an advice, okay? When I say advisably, it's just an advice. In cases where you can, do not keep strangers in your house. You know, it's good to help people, it's good to do good, but these days when you're trying to be good, you have to be careful. Don't be good to people at your own detriment. You have to be careful. Where possible, do not keep strangers in your house. But in a case where you have to because you do not have an alternative and you really want to help, please be extremely careful and be observant, be vigilant, okay? And my tip number 10, when you're trying to get a new house, like you're trying to rent a house or get a new house, please do not go alone. I've seen I've seen cases, and I mean it's been on the internet, it's been on social media, where people get into real trouble. I don't want to say the exact word how bad it is, but people get into real trouble just from going to rent a house all by themselves. And you know, in most cases, they'll tell you, okay, you can come into the house and see what's inside and stuff like that, and you're going into a lonely house with someone you do not know. I'm giving this tip right now after the one that I just gave because it has to do with strangers as well. These days it's really hard to trust even people you know, let alone people you do not know. So do not go to look for a house alone. And this should be related to the tip where I said give the address and phone number of the person you're going to meet or the place you're going to. It's important you give it to someone else. You just have to be safety conscious, okay? And my tip number 11, when you're meeting someone for the first time, please try to go to meet the person in a populated place. This tip I've been on for a very long time. I've heard this tip for a very long time, but it's really important. When you're meeting someone new, you're meeting someone for the first time, it's important you meet someone in a place that's populated, in like an eatery, in just think of any open place, okay, somewhere that's populated. Don't meet someone you've not met for the first time in a lonely place or in their house. So many things can happen. Okay, my tip number 12 would be do not use your generators very late at night. I'm not saying do not use your generators at night because we know we live in Nigeria, right? There are times you really need to use your generator, especially after your long day. You need to relax, you need to watch TV and stuff like that. But do not use it very late at night. I know that in some areas they give you a time where all generators should be put off. It's for security reasons, okay? And the other night, I heard someone screaming. She was shouting, "Thief, thief, thief!" But no one could hear. You know why? There were at least 10 generators on in the neighborhood that night, and no one could hear anything. So it's really important you put off your generator before it's very, very late at night, not just for the safety of other people, for your own safety, so that you can easily hear sounds in your environment at night. Okay, I can hear some background noise. I don't know how bad it is right now, but okay, let's continue. My tip number 13 would be vigilant when it rains. Now, I'm saying this because of stories that I've heard, okay? I've really heard stories where things happen when it rains. They break into people's houses and different things happen when it rains. So if it rains and you do not really need to go out, it's advisable you just stay at home, okay? If the noise in the background gets worse, I'm just going to list out remaining tips on the screen.